You're watching Football Daily, and here are this week's biggest transfer news and headlines. The rumour mill is in overdrive this week, so we have a very juicy episode lined up for you today. Let's get straight into it. We begin with a particularly outrageous story, as Jesse Lingard has been linked with a number of Europe's top clubs this week. The English forward, who has been on fire since moving to West Ham on loan in January, sees his contract at Man United expire in 2022, so it's likely the Red Devils will look to secure a fee for him this summer. And with 8 goals and 3 assists in his last 9 appearances, Lingard is one of the form players in Europe right now, meaning United can hope to get an inflated figure for their academy product. And according to ESPN, Inter Milan, PSG and even Real Madrid are monitoring the 28-year-old situation, which seems pretty far-fetched even considering the form he's in right now. Inter don't play in the 4-2-3-1 formation that suits him. Zinedine Zidane has continually struggled to integrate attacking midfielders into his team, while PSG already have a number of quality players in his position. And while he's proved very effective for a side hoping to qualify for the Champions League, whether he'd start for one with ambitions of winning the competition is another matter. Nevertheless, West Ham fans will be rueing the fact the club weren't able to secure an option to buy in his deal. His value has shot up as a result of his excellent form at the London Stadium, and so whereas before the Hammers may have hoped to tie him down permanently for less than £20 million, they may have to pay up to £30 million, or perhaps even more if other clubs become interested, to sign him this summer. But can you see any other parties bidding for Lingard once the window reopens, and if so, who? Let us know in the comments below. Over to Tottenham now, as after another poor performance on the weekend, the Spurs defence is once again being put under the microscope. And the latest report coming from Sky Germany suggests that the London club are ready to move for Bayern Munich centre-back Jerome Boateng this summer. The German defender, who has revived his career somewhat under Hansi Flick, sees his contract at the Allianz expire in June and will leave on a free 10 years after signing from Manchester City. The 32-year-old is apparently seen as a good short-term fix for the Spurs back line, which has dropped off since the turn of the year, with Eric Dyer, Davinson Sanchez and Joe Rodon all coming in for criticism in recent months. The report also states that, quote, concrete talks have already taken place between the two parties, and so there's a possibility this could be one of the first big moves to take place this summer. However, if the club wants to spend anything significant in the next window, a clear-out may be in order. According to the Daily Mail, Spurs will have to sell in order to buy, with Serge Aurier, Eric Lamela, Juan Foyth and even captain Hugo Lloris all potentially facing the chop, with up to 6 players expected to leave the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The futures of Harry Winks and Dele Alli largely depend on whether Jose Mourinho stays at the club, with the pair making 9 Premier League starts between them this term, while the loans of Gareth Bale and Carlos Vinicius will almost certainly not be renewed due to the Welshman's astronomical wages and the Brazilian striker's £36 million option to buy being deemed too steep. If Vinicius returns to Benfica as expected, Spurs may choose to target Stuttgart's Sasa Kalajdzic, who has scored 14 goals in the Bundesliga this term, as his replacement. And they could also look to Germany for Lloris's long-term heir, with Wolfsburg's Cohen Casteels understood to be an option if they fail to land number 1 target Nick Pope. It's looking like it could be a big summer of change in North London, even if Mourinho keeps his job. Before we move on to our headline story, a quick reminder to subscribe to Football Daily and hit that notification bell so you never miss another great video like this one. The back pages this summer are going to be constantly filled with stories about Erling Haaland and Jadon Sancho, especially if Borussia Dortmund don't qualify for the Champions League, something which looks increasingly likely. And while Sancho has predominantly been linked with a move back to England, with Man United still understood to be monitoring his situation, he may have another big option elsewhere in Europe. That's because David Ornstein has revealed that PSG may also be interested in taking on the 21-year-old, who is currently recovering from a muscle injury. With his contract at Dortmund not up until 2023, the Englishman will still command a big fee, but it's expected the German club will lower their asking price from the €120 million they were demanding from Man United last summer. And while another world-class attacker isn't necessarily what PSG needs right now, it may well be if Kylian Mbappé leaves. This week, manager Mauricio Pochettino confirmed the club was doing everything to try and keep the French superstar in Paris for the long term, with reports back in March stating that the player is demanding €35 million a year to sign a new contract. If a deal isn't done and PSG are forced to sell, Jadon Sancho will no doubt be near the top of their list of potential replacements, and they would certainly be one of the few clubs able to afford him. But what do you make of these links? Can you see Sancho going to Paris? Let us know in the comments below. Late last year, we discussed rumours linking Cristiano Ronaldo with an audacious move back to Manchester United in a swap deal with Paul Pogba. And now those rumours are firmly back in the papers, with Calcio Mercato suggesting this week that an exchange of some sort could still take place between United and Juventus. Both Pogba and CR7 see their current contracts expire in 2022, meaning that unless they sign, their clubs will probably look to offload them this summer. And with Man United in need of a centre forward, and with Juve having long expressed an interest in bringing Pogba back to Turin, a move like this, as far-fetched as it may seem, can't be written off just yet. And if it does somehow happen, Man United may look to Serie A for Pogba's replacement. Lazio star Sergej Milinkovic-Savic has been a target for the English club in the past, and according to Gazzetta dello Sport, he's back on their radar, with PSG and Real Madrid also monitoring the Serbian midfielder. The former Genk man, now in his 6th season with the Bianco Celesti, is enjoying an excellent campaign, hitting 7 goals and 8 assists in 26 Serie A appearances, even if his side are playing catch-up in the race for Champions League football. If they fail to qualify for Europe's premier competition, it could see the highly rated 26-year-old push for a move, although it may take a hefty figure to get him out of Rome. Previously priced at €100 million by his club, Milinkovic-Savic's value has fallen somewhat, but his €60 million market valuation as set out by the Football Observatory would still be enough to put off most clubs in the post-Covid market, while he still has 3 years left on his deal at the Stadio Olimpico. And unless United can get a similar fee for Pogba, it's highly unlikely they would invest that kind of money in an area of the squad in which they already have decent depth. Unless Lazio lower their asking price, we can see their star player staying put this summer. We finish off at Chelsea, as the club's hopes of securing one of its top targets were given a boost this week. That's because AC Milan goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma is still yet to renew his contract at the San Siro, and the latest report from Gazzetta dello Sport suggests his club are growing less confident of persuading him to stay. Technical director Paolo Maldini spoke to the press on the weekend, and when asked about ongoing contract negotiations, was apparently downbeat, saying, "To make a deal, 2 of you need to be happy." This is of course an English translation, and things can get lost in this regard, but it certainly suggests that the club are still finding it difficult to negotiate with Donnarumma, who will be a free agent come the summer if he isn't tied down to a new deal. And he isn't the only player Milan fans will be worried about. Hakan Çalhanoğlu's contract also expires in the summer, while Franck Kessié, whose deal is up in 2022, is understood to have rejected the club's first offer in their negotiations. If they aren't careful, they could lose a hefty chunk of the spine which has provided the basis of their upturn in results in the last 12 months. While getting Kepa off the wage bill remains a high priority for Chelsea, the opportunity to sign Europe's most highly regarded young stopper may simply be too good to miss, especially with a super club like PSG, who need a long-term heir to Keylor Navas, bound to be thrown into the mix too. With speculation that Edouard Mendy is seen as a stopgap at Stamford Bridge, and with Donnarumma having only turned 22 this year, the Blues have a chance to secure their goalkeeping position for at least the next decade. So that's all we have time for on this week's Transfer Talk, but which of these moves can you see happening? Let us know in the comments below and we'll do our best to reply. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave us a like, and why not head on over to Eurofootball Daily for UCL Review, where we rounded up Bayern Munich's loss to PSG in the Champions League, and also yesterday's Euro Transfer Talk, where we discussed the possibility of Klopp going to the Allianz Arena. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.